welcome this morning. Hello. We are going to do 3 review gestures for ones you're probably seeing in your passages lately, and then we are going to hit some of our basic math vocab that Suzanne very graciously helped me with this morning. Again, thank you, Suzanne. So we're going to start with lesson moral. So I'll do it once, and then we can all do it together. Lesson moral, detail, 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 what the author wants you to learn. Ready? Yes. Begin. Lesson moral, detail, 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 what the author wants you to learn. Feel good on that one? Anyone want to do it again? No? Great. All right, main idea. This is the good one. I'll do it first and then we'll do it together. Main idea, detail, 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 what it's mostly about. Everyone, main idea, detail, 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 what it's mostly about. Excellent. Then we have summary. This is one we're just kind of starting with. So summary is a little bit different. The graphic organizer is different than our regular one. It's summary, main idea, main idea, main idea. A short retell of the main ideas. Ready? Begin. Summary, main idea, main idea, main idea. A short retell of the main ideas. Nice. And then we're going to go into our math. So first we have addition. And addition's a simple one. It's really nice. It's putting things together. So addition, putting things together. Will you show your elbow partner addition, please? Putting things together. Oh, it went okay. Also, fun fact, there is a video here that I think Autumn's class made a while back, with the video that you can show either your class or watch yourself to refresh your memory.
It's our Chinook kids doing the.
Yeah, it's really cute. Subtraction. So whereas addition is putting things together, subtraction is taking things away or finding the difference. Taking things away or finding the difference. Let's do it all together again. Subtraction is taking things away or finding the difference. Very well done. Next, we have multiplication. And for this one, 3rd grade has been putting their hand behind their back so that they can't see one of the hands. And then it's to have equal groups. So that we're
New talk move for today. So remember that the last 2 times we've been together, we focused on wait time and turn and talk. So before we go on to so you are saying, I want you just to review and think for a second. What is we watched that little short video last time that kind of told us briefly how important wait time is and why. So I want you to think for a second what that video told you about the importance of wait time. And now quickly take 30 seconds, talk to just your table. What is the importance of wait time? In addition to that, so our big student goal is getting 100% of our kids actively involved in learning. How does wait time address that? Think about that for a second. And probably in your head you're thinking it's the same answer. It allows 100% of our kids to have the time to process. Is there anything else you can think of that it adds to get all of our kids actively involved? No? Gives them all a chance. So today we're moving to So You Are Saying. And all 3 of these talk moves fall under the same purpose. And that's really to get the kids clear on what their own brains are thinking about. Because the next step in talk moves is for them to start thinking about what somebody else is saying to them and how that might change their thinking, adapt their thinking. So before they can even do that and process with other kids, they have to be able to understand what themselves are thinking about. So You Are Saying is still primarily in the teacher role. So wait time, turn and talk. So You Are Saying is really teacher controlled. When we move from this, it becomes a lot more student controlled. And on your TPEP rubric, we're going to be moving from a 3, where you land in the 3 category, to a 4 category after this. So You Are Saying is the same thing basically as revoicing. You might have heard it. So when kids are answering out loud, you are basically repeating the student's answer, and you can tweak kind of the words, because really what you're trying to do is they might have responded in a long-winded answer, or the answer was kind of wrapped into other words. You're really trying to provide clarity for them and for the students around so they hear the correct answer, or they hear what the student was saying clearly.
Multiply the length times the width times the height. Okay, so can you describe your strategy again and why you think it works?
When it says like the length, you would multiply 5 times 4, and then you would multiply the height, which would be 3, and then you would get your answer, and like that's how we explain it before.
Okay, so you're saying that if I multiply the length times the width times the height, I would get the volume of a rectangular prism. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay? Short and clear, but purposeful. So talk to your table just for a second. Why did she choose to pause and use revoicing? Sometimes, I know you've probably done it too, that you kind of pull the student around to the correct response, which totally could be a purpose. Anything else? Jamie?
Repetition for that big volume definition.
Exactly. The kids heard it again after the student had done it. Okay? Shortening the response, because the kids was long, she said it nice and simple. Giving a visual where everybody could see. So lots of purposes behind that. But just like we talked about the talk moves before, right now we're still in the phase, some of us, not all of us, are in the phase of practicing the talk move. So right now it might feel like you are just doing it to practice it, but eventually this is where we want to go, where you don't have to think about it, it's just part of you, so you revoice for a purpose. Right now it might be I'm revoicing because I want to try revoicing. So here's just a kind of bring us back to why we do revoicing and why you want to practice revoicing. It really makes students hear clearly what correct responses or other responses might sound like, brings them back to their own thinking, makes them feel that you really care about what they're saying, so you don't have to use this just in academics. This is good to use when they come through the door. When you're greeting them at the buses, they say something to you and you say, oh, so are you saying that you were upset about what happened on the bus, and they can clarify for you. I mean, this is something that can be used all around. So just give it a try. We have a whole nother month before we get another one, so now we've got wait time, turn and talk, and revoicing, all ones to build thinking. Okay, so now we're moving on to our new learning with candid collaboration.
Okay, that'd be me. Okay, so here's our goals again this year and probably into next year. And so this obviously candid collaboration is going to fall under collaboration. Here's this sign. So I want to get off the path here for a minute. So Alyssa and where's Lauren? Lauren. So I saw this slide last night as I was preparing, and all I could think was about Atla and you guys talking about imaging. So I'm not reading this to them. And I wish I had pictures, but I'm not that with it. And CD wasn't at the house last night. So, or I would have had him home. Just so that my Atla teachers would have said, oh, look at Jennifer. She's like listening to what we're saying. We already have a place to practice our solution-focused collaboration. So I'm not reading that to you, but you're reading that. And I'm telling you that we have a place already. We have a setting here at Chinook, which is obviously PLCs, right? PLCs, common planning, when you guys are coming together for your common planning, data meetings, right? Where we're already working in a setting for that, to go ahead and have our collaboration be solution focused. Remember that what we learned at NEU, that day that we spent together at NEU, the settings that we have here, which I just mentioned to you, will give us the opportunity to practice and get better at productive conversations that will support our goal of serving the kids. Okay? So some of this candid conversation, sure, everything we do in our professional life, if you choose to, you can take it into your personal life, but I do want you guys to know that everything that we're talking about with our instructional focus is coming from me, it's about our kids, okay? And if it's, everything's about our kids, even if it gets a little messy, or it feels like, what the heck is she talking about, or why do we have to do that? It's for our kids, so that the kids are as safe and engaged and doing what we need them to do to learn how to read and do math and write, to do this journey with us. It will help your personal, your personal journey. It will, it just does. So, what is candid collaboration? Honest communication with a purpose. Okay. Your PD group, which is the people that last year we went ahead and they're continuing to work, which again makes sense, right? Because and they wanted to. They were asked and they chose to stay. But Alyssa, Suzanne, Jamie, Lindsay, Melissa, Jesse, and me. Anybody else? Okay. So that also is. That's why I think you're going to see some great. Areas like this, like what does this mean for you in your evaluation? And after I talked to you about what Dan and I are doing with evaluations and just trying to continue to support you in this area, in your evaluation area, where does this show up? Why is this all that important? Oh boy, does it show up. It shows up, it shows up, it shows up.
Actual candid collaboration piece at NEU, besides. Okay. So the purpose behind candid collaboration, we've talked about candid, which means being honest, is that really to start building, you have to have a system for communication too. Because if you have an issue, even within your team or between yourself and another coworker, oftentimes, and I know personally that it's easier for me to go to somebody I'm comfortable with and like say, I'm so annoyed because blah, 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 but going through this consciously makes me aware that this is what you're doing, and really what I should be doing is I should be starting with level 1 and actually going to the person. This gave a comfortable way to approach somebody that I might not be agreeing with what either they're doing or saying, or the practices that, getting their data in on time, all those things. This really, to me, is a powerful piece to all of us. Because it will make us feel, I think, more positive and safe here, knowing we have coworkers that support us. I'd rather have somebody come to me and just talk with me versus jumping to Jennifer and saying, Lindsay did blah, 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 blah. It feels better. And I think it feels better as the person talking to, I'd rather talk to the person I've got I don't want to say issue, but I don't know another word right now. I'd rather talk real with that person than to go and talk with like Jessie, who I might feel more comfortable with. It feels a little bit poisonous when I talk to Jessie about that piece versus going to the person. So I think this is going to build us professionally anyways.
And Lindsay, it's so important that a lot of times, so that you know, and that a lot of times if people would just do this 80%, maybe even as high as 85% of the situation or your feeling or whatever, it would be taken care of. Because what I found a lot of times too, it might be that, number one, you don't even have the right information, so you just need something clarifying, or there's something you just don't know. There's something that you missed or something. So there's nothing confronted. There's no confrontation here. It's just seeking out information. So it's so safe to start here.
One, to understand the other person and to try to help them. Try to help. Like, how can I help you? And how can we get this done? And then it's amazing once you do it, like it's a little scary sometimes. Like, let's be honest, sometimes, you're like, But once you do it, it's like the biggest weight in the world is off your shoulders. I can't even say how nice it is. And for people who come to do the same thing with me, I'm like, oh, it's a learning experience too, right, for the other person. Like when people have come to talk to me and say, hey, when you did this, I felt like this or whatever, then I was like, whoa, I gotta think about my own self. And it's growth, right?
And I think we can help each other. Like now when I go to Jessie, I hope Jessie says, did you go talk to so-and-so? Yeah. Like she keeps me accountable for doing this. So notice in the video that, number one, that Jessie is our person that's needing to talk to this person. And she goes into their room, she's very calm, and it's all, how can I help you? The first 2 stages are, how can I help you? And then we get to more like, now we really gotta talk about this.